is another episode of Get Real with King Arthur. We've been using the metaphor created by Lord Byron of the New Year as a pit stop, a changing place, a carriage changing place in the 19th century. But you're already on the road, and you're on the way during the new year, 2024. And I want to talk today about the air you breathe. We all breathe air. Now, I hope you're breathing fresh air, literally the air you breathe. I hope you'll be among the mountains, whatnot, on the road. But I want to talk about the psychological or social air you breathe. There's an atmosphere, a metaphoric atmosphere of the air, figuratively, that you breathe. And there are two types of air that you could breathe. Now, literally, you breathe mostly oxygen, I hope, if you're alive. But this metaphoric air comes in two kinds. One, it comes as positive, and the other, it comes as negative. Let me put it another way. I need to smile once in a while, don't I? Okay. It comes as a major chord and a minor chord. And I believe that too often in our day, the climate is minor chord. That came home to me during the Christmas season. I'm a great fan of Christmas. And I love Christmas music, especially sacred music. And I heard virtually no beautiful music at Christmas time, including on Alexa, the Messiah. I thought something was wrong with the recording. And then at church, we had a concert and started off with Silent Night in a minor chord. And the pianist, wonderful pianist, would strike deliberately off notes. And so suddenly came to me that the dominant air we breathe, the psychological, social air, is now minor. Now, the major key is celebrating of life. Browning, in his poem Pro Lippo Lippi, Robert Browning, the 19th century poet, has Pro Lippo Lippi say, the painter say, the world means good, and it means intensely. To find its meaning is my meat and drink. It's positive. There's beauty. And I contrast that with the minor key, where there is lack of beauty, disharmony. Well, why would people leave the search for beauty to go to the minor key, disharmony? What a puzzle. I think the answer is that the shade of Buddhism as a philosophy, not religion, says or advocates a lowering of expectations, a deadening of expectations, because if you have high expectations, you'll get hurt. And so, with low expectations, you can survive better. How strange. And yet, you look at so much of modern art, It's ugly. And I've seen a lot of it, my dear friends. I have been at the Biennale in Venice twice or three times. That's the big art show of the world. And I see little attempt at beauty. I see a lot of meaning. The one that stands out in my mind is a maze, a glass maze, with someone wandering around trying to get out. In the background, someone is lecturing with factoids. Has no relevance to his getting out of the maze. And so people have been hurt and disappointed, and I sympathize with them. I wished I knew the name of the singer, not famous at all, whose song has reached big time. And it's all negative and complaints and minor. I used to teach a course in contemporary British literature, and I was talking about the poet Philip Larkin, the British poet. And I mentioned that he was very fond of jazz music. And I said, well, I like some jazz. But I said, I don't like hard rock. So I said to the class, oh, what's hard rock about? 3 hands went up. Well, I said, what's it about? They said, anger. Anger? I said, what do you mean? Well, anger at what? Anger at broken homes. And the whole class agreed. Well, I heard the statement that the public likes a singer because he understands how they feel. They're feeling hurt. Well, I'm sorry about that. I beg your pardon. I never promised you a rose garden. But I don't mean to be flippant about it. And but what do you do in such cases? I think you can emphasize the positive and forget the negative. It's in your power, I believe, with the help of grace, God's grace. And I have an example. I had a brilliant friend named John, who's now gone, departed this life. And he had lots of disappointments. Wonderful guy, marvelous, brilliant, wonderful. And he had to go to the pharmacy. He lived out in the country to get some medication. He had cancer. And he came out of the store and realized that he had locked his keys in the car. And he was way out in the middle of nowhere. And he was frustrated, obviously. And there was a bus stop there, and there was a homeless man there. And the homeless man said, oh, how beautiful is the world. How wonderful the sun, whatever or whatever. And John ended up on his knees. And his wife said he became a different person. Well, he had lots of reason to be disappointed. For no fault of his own, the business failed. And he got cancer through no fault of his own. But he moved to the positive. I think you need to search for harmony. I'll give you another example. I was at a camp meeting. There was a bunch of young people all sitting up near the front. Very nice young people. Very noisy, I might say. And they had this beautiful trio from Kentucky Mountain Bible College. perfect harmony. I've heard them on the radio. Perfect harmony. And they give a mild applause. Then this trio switched to some raucous song, and they went wild with enthusiasm. Oh, it's wonderful. I'm not imagining this, am I, dear friends? I don't think so. And I am alarmed at this emphasis on the negative. No, you get hurt if you have high expectations, and you'll see you have disappointments. And if you love beauty, you'll see ugliness, of course. But can you search is to find the meaning of life, your meat and drink? What do I think of the book Man's Search for Meaning, written by a survivor of the Holocaust? And I read a book, I wish I could recall the author, about a 20-year-old man who was in the French underground in World War II and ended up in a concentration camp. He was discovered. And he got sick, and they warehoused him to some sick bay with no attention. He said, I had nothing but God. Somehow, certainly, we aren't that bad off as that poor blind youth in a concentration camp. I think we need to search for meaning and insist on finding what meaning we can. To find its meaning is my meat and drink. Yes, I'll get hurt. Yes, I'll not blinded to trouble and ugliness, but I live in the positive. And I don't think I'm talking through my hat. I have been enough negative myself at times, and I know where that leads. And I want my life to emphasize meaning and purpose. Do you have a purpose in your life? Well, we talked about that last time, did we not? Goals, especially goals to help other people. Oh, those Meals on Wheels people. Oh, they are so obviously pleased at being able to help poor old me. Oh, it's wonderful. They cheer me up. And so I think we need to listen to beautiful music and look at beauty and celebrate the positive things in life as wonderful gifts of life that we have been given. And so I want to encourage you to accentuate the positive and eliminate the negative, and not to mess with Mr. In Between, and help someone else. Stop moaning about yourself. I met a man who complained because he had no shoes until I met a man who had no feet. Have a great trip and breathe the air of meaning and beauty, and maybe disappointment too. See you, kids. Bye.